So in this lesson, we're going to introduce some interaction. So maybe what we want to happen whenever we click these buttons, we want them to change color. So in the last lesson, we looked at how we can update the styling of the element. So in this lesson, we're going to look at how we can add some interaction. So the first thing I want to do is I want to identify buttons. So maybe I'm just going to give it an ID of variable button1, and this is going to contain our button object. And we're going to just do document, because again, using the document object, we're going to get element by ID, and we're going to select btn1 as our element. And now we can use this btn object wherever we need it to. So if I want to do btn and I want to update the style, and maybe I want to update that background color. So if I want to turn it yellow, all I have to do is do style background color yellow. I refresh it, we see that it updates to yellow. Now let's say that I want to add some interaction. So I want to actually make this a button. Instead of just saying click me, I actually want to be able to produce a click. And this is going to be really easy. All we have to do is do btn, and we can do onclick. And what this does is this adds the onclick event handler to that particular element that we've selected. And maybe I want to run a function. So I've got my function that I'm just calling myFun. And then here I'm going to create that function. So the myFun function, and I'm going to pass any arguments there. And maybe this is where I need to put that background color equals yellow. So let's go and refresh it. And so what's happening here is that's applying this background color. So what's happening is it's already clicking it. Let's just add in something else here where we'll do a document. So maybe I'm going to set an output variable here. So I'm going to grab that output and get element by ID output and set output inner HTML, and we'll set that to clicked. So now when we refresh the code, we see that it already says clicked. So it does look like it's already running through that function, even though that we haven't done anything with that function. And the reason is that whenever I'm setting the function, the onclick, I don't need to actually do the curly brackets as I would, because when I do that, then it fires off the function. So now let's reload the page, and now when I click it, it fires off the onclick. And of course, there are different ways that we can do the onclick. So I'm going to do the onclick on button 2. And just to show you that there are just different ways to write the same type of functionality. So I'm going to do btn2, select btn2. And for this one, I'm going to do btn2 onclick. And this one, I'm going to equal it to. And here I've got a function, so this is a completely blank, brand new function that I'm going to create, and I'm going to have my coding within here. So I'm going to copy out some of the stuff that I've done here, and maybe I'll write clicked to, and we'll set the background to yellow. And let's see what happens now. So I click it, we get clicked to, click it, we get clicked, and so on. This, at the root of things, is one of the quickest ways to get that DOM interaction. And I'm going to just open up the console here so we can get a better idea of the properties that are available. So for button 2, when I go down, I can see that I've got an onclick function here, and I've got something happening whenever it gets clicked. And we also have the ability to access any one of these triggers. So we've got the onclick that we're using over here, but of course we can use any one of these. So we can use especially if we've got forms. There's quite a lot more options, but we've got this on drag as well. We've got mouse events, which we're also going to look at in the upcoming lessons. So how whenever we move the mouse over, we can fire off those events and so on. So we see there's quite a lot of different options here. We even have the mouse wheel, so whenever on wheel, whenever we move the mouse wheel, then we can trigger that interaction as well. So a lot of options, and we're going to be looking at more of these triggers in the upcoming lessons.